Hello, everyone. Welcome to those of you who are watching via YouTube. Welcome back to those of you who are listening via podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever your ear takes in podcasts. As you can see, you guys, we have company. Oh my gosh, our first guest of the Dear Hallmark podcast. I am pleased to have the godmother of sleuthing, the founding member of the Snoop Scoop, the inspiration behind the name of the cereal Apple Jacks. You may know her from the Hallmark's channels, Bubbly Sesh. Guys, please welcome Jax into the home of Dear Hallmark. How are you doing?
Dara, thank you for that wonderful, phenomenal introduction where most of those things were true. And the one about the Apple Jacks, I think I wish it was, so it can be so.
I think it is, therefore it is. That's kind of where I am.
It is,
Therefore it is.
I have to say,
yes.
I was debating before this, whether to play cool and be like, thanks so much for inviting me. But in all honesty, to anyone who's listening, I want to thank you for letting me invite myself, because I did slide into those DMs. And I always say, shoot your shot. And I did. And I said, can we hang on your pod? And you graciously said yes. So thank you for letting me be company with you today.
Sis, it was nothing but a word. It was nothing but a word. I'm so excited. How are you doing though?
I mean, I'm doing great. I'm number one, so excited to talk with you on this journey, Detective Dar, which is what are we there? Can we be there?
The alliteration alone, hook, line, and sinker. I'm in it to win it.
Okay, well, just as long, I mean, if you weren't ready for your mystery moniker straight out of the gate, I would give you time, no pressure, but I've already done a little bit of sleuthing on you, and I was like, okay, she's ready. There's 8 mystery series we're going to go through. I know a little bit about some of your history with some of them, but I'm just super glad to be on this journey with you, because I'm a little bit of a snoop and I've been creeping on you. I don't want to say I'm a stalker, because I feel like I'm respectful. I just go with what people put out there. So I don't invade privacy, except for when I would read my sister's journal and we were a little bit with that exception.
That aside,
2 incidents with a boyfriend's phone, once where I didn't find anything, which was weirdly disappointing. Other than those 2 things, I try and be respectful. So I'm glad to be on this journey with you.
I wouldn't have it any other way. So before we get into the actual mysteries that we're going to chop up, give me your mystery history. How did you get involved with Hallmark Movies and Mysteries? What came first, Hallmark Channel or Hallmark Movies and Mysteries for you?
Oh, okay. So that's a really good question. So my mystery history goes back, little girl, reading Nancy Drew, watching Jessica Fletcher, Father Dowling, who was a priest that solved crimes, and his nun, not his nun, I'm sorry, it's the Lord's nun, but they worked together to solve them. Columbo, all the Hardy Boys, all that, did all that. Love mysteries. Much like you, because I heard you chat about this on Dear Hallmark, I have a really difficult time watching violence and things like that. So it was difficult for me to find mysteries that were okay for me to watch and not feel like I need to cover my eyes all the time. But interestingly enough, Hallmark was something I always watched growing up with my family. The Hallmark, there's, I would say that it was an ebb and flow. I wasn't always an avid watcher. And then, of course, over the last 6 years, it really ramped up with the rom-coms. But then I like the rom-coms a lot, but hold the phone. The itch that I needed scratched was that I needed mysteries that were safe for my eyes and then found that Hallmark had a treasure trove that I need to dive into, and that is my bread and butter.
So what was the first mystery that you watched that you got hooked on?
Ooh, for Hallmark. Okay, so I would say I don't remember which one because they were all happening at the same time, like in my mind that I was consuming them. But there was an Aurora, a Mystery 101. It was like a confluence of what can I consume.
Come on, word. That's a word. I love that word. Oh my gosh. Confluence. Come on, Webster. I'm with it.
I mean, you're a novelist, and because I'm a
It.
scoop, I know this. So, gotta know your audience,
I love that. So you said Aurora, Mystery 101. Was there any other that added to that confluence, if you will?
So, yes. So I'm trying to think which was actually the first, because I don't know if you've had this in your life, whether it's when you get obsessed with something, you're interested in something, or when you have a friendship or a dating relationship. Or like I had this with my cat Moriarty, who's, named after, Sherlock.
That's a gold medal pet name right there. I'm talking A1 steak sauce, grade A, top shelf, like gold member. I'm so serious. That's so awesome.
He truly is the best. I got him from Hallmark Channel Kitten Bowl. And I don't want to brag, but I'll brag because he's my son. He not only threw the winning touchdown pass, but through the magic of TV editing, he caught that pass.
I know that's right. You better have a star athlete, a pro bowler in your household. I fully support that. That's so awesome. Go more. Shout out to Moriarty. Shout out to Moriarty. Oh my goodness.
He was going by his football name at the time, which was Nickel.
Oh,
but you can find the footage online, and I'm very proud of him. He is retired now and lives a life of utter luxury. But the reason I bring that up is to say that I look back now and I don't remember in my life when I didn't watch the Hallmark movies and mysteries. And so to be like, oh, which was the first one? It's almost like, oh, I don't know what my sort of gateway was, because I remember consuming so many at the same time. And with Hallmark, say, rom-coms, like I remember that this was both for myself getting like back into Hallmark as an adult, but it was 9 Lives of Christmas. That was the big one. Cats, firefighters,
Kimberly.
most importantly, she actually does rank above the cats in that one. And that says a lot.
Yes, Kimberly is queen. Kimberly, if you're listening to this, I love you. Okay, continue.
She truly is queen. And I'm sure that you and I are both excited about that sequel coming up, and we will be watching.
I will be fangirling. Absolutely. No shame here.
Hard. But I remember that one because I remember it being distinctive in what made me say, I need to actually be watching these and committing to my life.
Mhm.
Like, this needs to be part of a fandom I engage in. But with the mysteries, it was all happening so fast, and I was ravenously consuming them rather than just like, okay, now I like add it into the rotation, that I always felt like it was here and here. It was all swirling and happening. So that is my obsessive mystery history.
I love it. I love it so much. So let's get into what are the mysteries that, because y'all, I don't know if you know this, But I am a new person into the mystery world. I recently just finished the Picture Perfect Mysteries with Carlos Penavega and his wife Alexa Penavega. Super cute. Love the nods to like the 50s and 60s mod with the color and the fonts. Oh my word. It was so beautiful. It was cute. I can just sing its praises all day long. Have you finished the Picture Perfect Mystery?
Oh, yeah. And I think, honestly, I think that's a great place to start because we both like alliteration, picture perfect. And the way that you're describing it, I thought I was so in on that. I remember watching the first one. And when the theme music comes on, stylistically, I got chills. Like, right, like I see you feeling it. Like you get the chills, and you're like, honestly, and look, the rest of the movie and series is great. But in that moment, I was like, if the rest of this is trash, spoiler alert, it's not. If it is, worth it because of the intro. The intro alone.
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 Alone. By itself. Stands at the gold medal, receiving Grammys, Tonys, Oscars, Emmys, Golden Globes. That intro is beautiful.
So beautiful. And it gets you feeling a certain kind of way. It primes you. And I think that sometimes I will say that that is something that other mystery series don't do as well in the fact that the intrigue does, it needs to ramp up, it needs a second. I think with many things, it's that most things, in fact. But they have you hook, line, and sinker from the beginning. Their chemistry is great. They are wonderful as a couple. They are both as sweet as pie, and like the good kind of pie that's not too sweet. You know what I mean? In real life and on screen. I think that there's also, I like in Picture Perfect that even though their worlds are very separate, it's not this contentious, oh no, as a photographer, you don't belong in this world. It's a bit more playful and gentle and loving. And of course, I love her BFF who like loves acting and is hilarious and always saying funny, quirky things. So Picture Perfect for me is one of those that really checks all the boxes of, yes, the mystery is good, but it's so character driven and stylistically it's so interesting as well that for me is what that checks off in my like mystery box of what that one does and does really well. That's what that one does well.
Like you said, the style it's so other. Like I never realized that with the pops of teals and turquoises and greens and yellows and pinks. And then I never realized, and this is no shade to the other mysteries, but kind of like how muted the like
Yes.
in a color scale, how muted the colors are on the other mysteries. And until I watched Picture Perfect Mysteries, it's so bright and cheerful, and it makes you want to jump in and be like, okay, Pink Panther, what are we doing? You know, like I it had me, you just want to blue skidoo right in there. And it's, you guys, if you haven't watched it, or if you haven't even watched any mystery at all, I would say totally start off with Picture Perfect. That's like your perfect intro appetizer, your amuse bouche, if you will, to get you into the mystery 5-course meal that is Hallmark Movies and Mysteries.
Mhm. I completely agree. I by the way, I just learned that word amuse bouche from my fiance like 6 months ago. So I'm trying to use it more. So thank you for using it. I agree. It is the perfect amuse bouche. I would say if you're moving into what to with that theme, what to consume next. This is it. So this is tricky because I'm the kind of person I like all my food on the table at once and I like pick around. So I will encourage that as well. But I would say the next one to move into, which was I think I know you finished Picture Perfect, but I think your gateway might have been Aurora. Did you start with that first?
That was my gateway. Yes, ma'am.
And I think that honestly, it's a good one to do next. One, because there's a bunch and they could all be standalone. Two, because it's Candace Cameron Bure, and there's really nothing else I need to say. We know she knows. I mean, she's producing it. She's rock star.
No, she produced it.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know. Okay, so to be honest, I don't know if she produced the initial ones, but now, I mean, she produces and it's like integral to shaping the entire story. And I mean, what is great about these is there's such world building at this point that it's not just, I don't want to spoil anything that's coming from you for you, because I know that you are romance wise not. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that before I reveal too much. I'm a snooper, super. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
But I'm not a spoiler. I try not to spoil. But what I will say is her relations with the other characters and the world that is built, like with Mary Lou Henner, or with all of the people that she's investigating with her, with her best friend, who is played really wonderfully by Alexa Doig. Like, I think that there's so much there that it allows you a great world to step into and plenty of content without feeling like you have to do it all in order. And I mean, she's a librarian, and I know you like books.
Can I tell you the times that I've Googled how to become a librarian without having to get my master's? Because I already I was like, is there a way I could sidetrack? You know that little gif of Kermit like on the typewriter? Like
Yes,
that
that's
was
a really good gift.
that was me. Like, how can I become a librarian? Like like she brings an authenticity and a relatability, Candace Cameron Bure does, to the character, which I think will draw people into her world, whether it's if you start at the episode 12, and I'll use episode in quotations, but if you start at like the 12th installment or the first installment, I think there's such a charisma and charm that she brings to the role that you just like, yeah, I believe that a librarian who loves and has a genuine interest in solving mysteries can help the detective and the police. And like I was sold. Like I was sold.
Well, that's exactly right. That you see why she could fall into slash insert herself in this, and like had this real murders club and be doing all this. You're like, okay, this makes sense to me. Another series that makes sense to me, and I mean pushes a lot of the buttons for me. Morning Show Mysteries. Holly Robinson Pete, Rick Fox, who is now not on the show, but that's only recently. So I'm going to talk about the Rick Fox days because, I mean, it's Rick Fox, basketball player extraordinaire slash it gave me some street cred with my dad and my brother, who were like, wait, Rick Fox is on Hallmark? Holly Robinson Pete is another one who in my mind can do no wrong. I am trying to get away from objectifying women as much as I've done in the past, but I'm going to go ahead and throw that out the window for 1 minute and say, this woman can wear a skirt, and she does. And I think that I won't say any more because there's so much more to Holly Robinson Pete than those gams. But I do think attention must be paid. However, back to her work. She is so great in Morning Show Mysteries. And the fact that I also think it's one of these jobs, like I love when we see our leading ladies, of course, being detectives, because as you know, Detective Dar, like that's my thing.
Yes.
I like when you see them being really good at the actual jobs that they have. And Holly Robinson Pete as this anchor is very believable. It is relatable. And then her chemistry with Rick Fox. I mean, I'm sorry, it's fire. It's fire. And finally, about this, I need to say that for those of you who don't know, Al Roker is a producer on this show, and he appears in these mysteries.
Why have I not heard that? What? Pause for a sip, please, because why have I not heard that?
This is what's so funny about, and you'll see when with the next series I talk about, you'll see how this is a cool world building thing within the mystery world. You start to realize that Hallmark with their movies and mysteries, they really know what they're doing because they get major power players behind them to do the thing. Major.
For those of you watching, you can see my mouth is still open. Al Morning Show Roker. That is his name now. Al Morning. So can you before you go on to the next mystery, I started watching the first installment of Morning Show Mysteries, but I haven't finished it. Could you explain, because I was confused, the connection between Holly Robinson Pete's character and Rick Fox's character? Was it that Rick Fox's character knew her dad, or could you explain their backstory?
Yes. So, and I could be misremembering because this one was a while ago for me. I think he was close with her dad. I do, but then also for me, I remember, it's funny that you asked that, and then I never cleared that up for myself. I remember thinking this requires further investigation because something wasn't making sense for me with it. And I don't know if I ever circled back and like dived in, much in the same way that for Aurora, I spent several episodes thinking that Mary Lou Henner's character was Aurora's, and I still get confused, was Aurora's aunt instead of her mom.
Oh.
Wait, it is her mom, right?
It is her mom, yeah.
So just to bring it into, I didn't mean to jump back to Aurora, but this is something that I need. When you're doing Hallmark movies and mysteries, you need your murder board to track your suspects. Absolutely.
Yes.
That is, for me, what I pay attention to. Sometimes when I'm lacking and that I really need help on, and I hope with you as my sidekick in this journey, you will help me.
Absolutely.
I need help with the relationships, both romantic and otherwise, because I genuinely was confused through no fault of Aurora or Morning Show about the relationship connection. And I find that happens for me usually less with the best friendships. They're a little more straightforward, but with either how a dad's involved, an uncle, a former law partner, or like a cop partner, or how they're connected in that way. Sometimes I find myself needing to like come back and recenter and be like, wait, how do these people know each other? And what is their history? And have they not told me yet? And I'll find out later, or did I miss it? So sorry if that wasn't helpful for you, because I realized I didn't really answer it.
No, but that brings me to another connection, and I hope I'm not jumping the gun on your list, but
you go anywhere, but this is your buffet.
I'm just so happy to have the godmother of a sleuth on my podcast, and I can ask her all these questions. But the one connection that I was not ready for, and the person who played this. So in the series Mystery 101, can we just take a moment of silence for that?
We're gonna have to. It's my favorite.
My best friend Jill Wagner plays Professor Amy Winslow, and my cousin Christopher Palaha plays Detective Travis Burke. And further along in the series, we find out that he has an ex-wife who's an FBI agent, played by Erin Cahill. I have been like, there's been such a deep desire to have crossover in the Hallmark universe of leading ladies. And when I saw that she was, I screamed with childlike glee. I said, because she's one of my faves. Erin Cahill, she's a sunflower. Like I can't love her.
So I two things you need to know. One, Mystery 101 is my favorite. Jill is your best friend. Chris Laha is your cousin, and Erin Cahill, I love and adore on just every level. She's amazing. When I found out that was happening, I mean, I couldn't even scream. I couldn't react. And then when I saw the movie itself, like Cahill plays that so brilliantly, and the fact that you can tell she's got this warmth and affection for Travis, and then your best friend Amy, there's a moment where like Cahill's like trying to have this intimate, wonderful, like female friendship moment. And I love how Amy puts up a boundary. And actually, and then like Cahill respects that boundary. And you see that at the end when they hug, she is really giving her blessing to this relationship. And watching the three of them solve it together. I mean, just everything about that. I really hope that she is in one of the future installments because chef's kiss. I mean, brilliant all around.
Brilliant. My compliments to the chef, aka the writer, the casting, who like it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. And speaking of that, because that was the episode before the latest one, Deadly History, which just ripped my heart out and said,
Are you okay?
I don't care. I'm not okay. No, I had to send out to my fellow Hallmark watchers. I was like, y'all need to check on your girl because I'm eating my feelings over here because of what happened, how they ended. Like how did you react to that ending for Deadly History?
Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. I am obsessed with the writer John Christian Plummer in a way that is like probably not quite healthy. We'll leave it at that. But he's so brilliant that I trust in him completely. And I thought when I saw it, I know that it created quite a stir, a kerfuffle in the sleuther community, especially because they just declared their. Am I allowed to say this? I know it's a spoiler, but they know, right? If you're here, you're here.
Spoiler alert. If you haven't watched it yet, please fast forward. Please fast forward if you have not watched it yet. Spoiler alert coming. Thank you.
I like that you did that so they know. Like if you know, you know. Like
yes.
You know. And we know. I was not at all stressed or bothered by it because I assumed, and probably wrongly, we'll find out soon, I hope, there's something with her being undercover or that there's.
I don't need a sip yet. Go ahead, keep going.
No, I'm sad that I'm sad that my timing wasn't better. That wasn't a spit take. I'm glad it wasn't. Though we have equipment. I don't need to be like ruining your show. Like you're providing good content. You don't need to be like having to clear up your computer. But
that would have been a good clip for the gram. People would
have. It was already a good clip. Your face said it all.
So you think she's undercover?
I do. Well, okay.
Like that's a theory. You're
It's a theory that I'm working with that other fans and sleuthers were working with. It also, to me, explains a lot about the fact that if they had just dated and broken up or whatever, but as you know, because she's your BFF, her dating Travis and breaking up with him, I think they're endgame, so that doesn't track. But let's just pretend and put that aside. Something happens and they'll get back together and whatever. What really doesn't track for the character is in 11 months, which is not 3 years. A lot can happen in 11 months, but not that much. That whatever was budding between she and Travis happens and then doesn't happen. She meets someone new. Okay, that ramps up with a snap, crackle, pop, and they're dating, and then they get engaged. That to me, that timeline doesn't fit. And I think that it doesn't mean that they're happily ever after together, Amy and Travis, but it does mean that, or that might not be her fiance, but there might have been a reason that she needed to protect Travis and let him think that she had moved on so much. Like there's something going on, and we're gonna find out what it is.
What if it's like you said, what if it's something she can't tell him to protect him because someone has it out for him, and so she was being blackmailed or something into like being, or that's you got the
so no, I didn't think. Okay, so you just gave me chills there, Detective Dar, because that's the kind of work I'm expecting. That's the kind of work I was expecting from you, like maybe in a few months, but I think that we might be working with like a prodigy level sleuther here.
Oh, what an honor. I've been knighted. Oh my gosh, what an honor. What an honor. Oh, so Mystery 101 is your favorite of the mysteries, period, hands down. What about it captivates you?
I mean, I think that that's another one with world building too, and the fact that Amy is a professor, and I think the language in this and the literary references are so spot on.
Yeah.
And that chemistry reminds me of Sybil Shepherd and Bruce Willis in Moonlighting, which for me, talk about any compliments to the chef. And when I remember thinking that, and then when I interviewed Chris Palaha about the series, not knowing I had that thought, he said we kind of were channeling Moonlighting, and I was like, oh my gosh, I saw that. You were. So definitely for me, that checks all the boxes. Much like another series I need to bring up because we're doing it right now. Chronicle Mysteries, Ali Sweeney. It's about podcasting, my friend.
Okay, I need a moment. They have a mystery about podcasting, like includes podcasting.
Oh yeah. Okay, so this is okay. I don't know. Are you a fan of the podcast Serial? It was so popular like years ago.
I've heard of it, but I didn't listen to it. But I know I'm tracking with you.
Well, and I think it was very much like I think so many have done what that did in the way that it put not just podcasting more on the map, but investigative podcasting in that way. Mm-hmm. So Ali Sweeney is Alex McPherson. This Ali Sweeney, she's famous for a bunch of other things, but she also did Murder, She Baked, which we will not be covering in this canon of mysteries because I'm only doing from like what my time at Hallmark was to keep things a little cleaner. And they're my bigger obsessions. But she already has, as you so aptly coined, her mystery history is Murder, She Baked, which people loved. Now she's doing this serial type investigative podcast in conjunction at a newspaper that her 98% sure her uncle runs. You know, I said sometimes I have trouble with those relationships. I think it's her uncle. It's definitely not her dad, but confident it's her uncle, or else like an older mentor man, but I'm 98% sure it's her uncle. Amazing cast of characters. Benjamin Ayers plays the editor at that paper, and he's so sweet and deferential to her that pairing is really good because she's very strong at leading what she does, and he's following along in a way that is really complimentary. Plus, she's recording all this stuff in real time. So unlike Serial, where they recorded that all, they packaged it up. You know, that's how most investigative podcasts, a lot of them work. She's dropping these episodes in real time as she's cracking the case, and it's beautiful.
Is this one of the newer ones that
Yes.
Hallmark has put out?
Absolutely. It's one of the newer ones. So some people don't know about it yet. And it's one of those that is so good. And people already have the buy-in with Allie Sweeney as a mystery heroine from Murder, She Baked. And of course, she's got fans from everywhere from her soap days and everything else she's done. But they know that they like to sleuth with her. So I think that's another thing where the buy-in is a little bit easier, even though it's a different world. People are going to enjoy it.
I love that. And Murder, She Baked, we can go on that journey together because I haven't started it yet. And I correct me if I'm wrong, but you haven't watched it?
I've not, and I'd be honored.
Oh my gosh.
I'd be honored. I think this is going to be good for us in continuing our sleuthing relationship, Mystery Maven Jax with Detective Dara, because this will give us a chance to truly work together on equal footing because I know something that you question for yourself with these mysteries is the replay value.
Yes.
They absolutely have replay value. But however, what would not be fair in the replay value for you and I sleuthing together is I would remember because I've watched it. With these, we're both going in with fresh eyes, clear hearts, clean murder boards that we can write on together.
Yes, I'm here for it. I've bought my ticket. Let's go. Let's go.
Somewhere else you need to go where I'm paying homage to her today is Lacey Chabert in Crossfire Mysteries. She loves rocking a leather jacket. And as Tess Harper, she is darling with someone who she's playing opposite with someone who I think is also one of your new best friends, Brendan Elliott. You're friends with him too, right? Like he's on your list now.
He is the best next door neighbor I've ever had. You know that neighbor you can just call on, you can talk to. Can you watch my dog? Can you watch my kids really quick? I gotta go to
Yes.
He is the best neighbor, and he is a brilliant actor. Both him and Lacey talented. The chemistry is bananas in pajamas, and it's going to be so interesting to see what their chemistry from like all of my heart, like to see not something like actually like that, because that was a rom-com, but like just seeing how the chemistry translates to a mystery.
Well, I love how you point that out, because I think that this is what Hallmark really smartly does, because the mysteries, because they're on that channel that not as many people get, they need a buy-in from people to get them over there. You know what I'm saying? And to raise this awareness. So I think that it's great that they partner people that they know work well together, especially because these are very rarely one-offs. They're usually like going to be a series, or at least that's the intention. And this is. And they need to know their two leads are going to have bonkers chemistry at the very least, and they're going to have a whole ensemble cast. It's great. You definitely get that in Crossword Mysteries. Also, talking about what we said with Al Roker with Morning Show Mysteries, Will Shorts, who is actually does the crossword for the New York Times, is a consultant on this. It's the New York Sentinel, but we all know in Crossword Mysteries, it's the New York Times. Not only does he work on Crossword Mysteries, he sometimes, like our friend Al Roker, makes an appearance in the movies.
Okay, now you sold me. What boss moves? I can't.
Oh, but they don't play around at Hallmark with the movies and mysteries. They just don't. It is, and I actually think what I like about it too is I find that because of the ensemble casting for these, the storytellings, I don't want to say deeper and more nuanced like the rom-coms aren't, but it has an opportunity. The diversity is better because we have a bigger cast of people who actually get story arcs. Like I think in our rom-coms sometimes, like we don't even get to, like, even our B plot, sometimes we're like, wait, I wanted more of what was going on there, let alone a C plot we're never gonna have time for. Where in these mysteries, you could be following like a teeny tiny character arc and you see it build from movie to movie. I am gonna go a little darker next for you, and I hope you're ready because I am not always ready for these. Martha's Vineyard Mysteries. It doesn't sound like it's going to be dark, but with Jesse Metcalf as our leading man, he's nitty, he's gritty, and sometimes it's a little bit raw, but I appreciate it.
I could not have said it better myself. I actually have already watched 2 of the Martha's Vineyard, and I say Martha's Vineyard like that, for the authenticity. But I've already watched 2, and I already see the stark difference. Like you said, it's darker, it's more intense. I like the friendship that his character is building with Sarah Lynn's character. First of all, this is my first introduction to Sarah Lynn. As an actress, I love her. She has a smile that could light up a room. Her performance, much like Candace Cameron, I believe that she's Dr. Z, and I think that name is boss as well, like Dr. Z.
I completely agree with you. I think Sarah Lynn, one, she's just a really good actress. I think she has a really great chemistry with Jesse, that she's not too bubblegum princess, because that would push him away. But you know who is a bubblegum princess in that movie that I am here for? Her best friend, who makes me laugh constantly. Like, she's so funny, and I'm so there for their friendship. And she's just like gorgeous and fun, and they have just a great thing going. That's, again, talking about world building. It's there. But I really love that they are both experts in what they do. And actually, Jesse's character is a little bit hard on his luck right now, whereas we've got Dr. Z, who's like thriving at the top of her profession.
Yes.
And this is another one where I'm going to need your help in the fact that her dad it's her dad, right? It's not her uncle, it's her dad, is in the police force, and he knows Jesse from before, I think, but then also he's still working and maybe not retired yet. Sometimes when we get to these law enforcement officials and we're talking about if they're retiring, when they're retiring, we have that picture perfect. We have I can't track if they're still in the workforce. And I appreciate everything our law enforcement does for us. I just sometimes don't know whether or not in these Hallmark movies, if they're still technically on the beat on the payroll, or if they're just doing it for free.
That was something I was thinking about with Jesse's or GW, as Dr. Z's dad calls them, because his name is Jefferson Washington Jackson, Jeff Jackson. That's his full name.
But quick sidebar, do you ever get confused when you're watching these because you think of the famous Jet Jackson?
First, okay, now we're best friends. So I never thought about that, but now I can't not think about that. I was actually
sorry, and you're welcome.
I was actually thinking about Thomas Jefferson from Hamilton. I was thinking about Daveed Diggs and what he brought to the Thomas Jefferson role, but the famous Jet Jackson was hands down my favorite Disney Channel show. And sidebar, I'm actually thinking about doing a Disney Channel, a podcast with me and my roommate, where we watch Disney Channel original movies as adults and
you have to. Okay, I'm fully in on this. You must do this.
Because I'm in such watching. I try to watch some of the Disney Channel shows now to see, what the kids are hip to nowadays.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is not my Disney Channel. I want to go back. I want to relive the Poof Point, the 13th Year, Xenon Girl of the 21st Century.
Yes, you do.
Smart House, Luck of the Irish. I want 17 again. I want it all. And I want it now.
You're so right. I love that, not to knock anything that's happening there, because it's all great and our kids need it and we need it too, like the kids of this generation. But I love that Hashtag not my Disney Channel. Like we need the nostalgia of what we grew up with. And it's not to take away from the amazing content they're creating now, but like we need what we need too, even as adults, perhaps even more so. We didn't think we were gonna need it as adults. Now we're like, a lot has happened.
Oh, hello. A lot has happened. I found myself waking up on a Saturday and what am I watching? Pepper Ann, she's too cool for seventh grade. Pepper Ann, she's like one in a million. I was like, I just needed something, you know?
That's just something you needed. Like nothing else was gonna check that box. Like that would be a good ringtone, by the way. Like I would love for that to be my ringtone. Like we knew we needed. I am in full support of that. And actually, now that we workshop this, I feel like we need to contact Hallmark and get the famous Chet Jackson to appear on Martha's Vineyard Mysteries. Then do you think that's too much of an Easter egg that is so niche that we would be literally the only two people to get it?
I don't know, but the actor who played the famous Chet Jackson, he has passed away.
Are you serious?
I am so serious. He passed away quite a few, probably like 7 or 8 years ago. He was on a show, Rizzoli and Isles. I don't know if you know of that show on TNT.
Yeah.
He was a regular on that show, and it was whilst filming that show, they walked in and saw him on the floor. And yeah, that was
You know,
yeah.
you know what you're saying that, and not to bring it down, but one, I'm so glad you told me that too. I actually feel like I don't know if this ever happens to you, and sorry if this gets dark, you guys, but I don't know if this ever happens to you that sometimes you know something and you remember it and you have it, and then you sort of forget it. Like, and I might be wrong. Do you remember Brad Renfro?
I don't. Mm-mm.
Okay, so he was in Tom and Huck, and I think he has since passed away. But because I grew up with him, and much like Jackson, he was one of my crushes of that time. I still exist in a world where even if they are not with us anymore, they're still so much a part of my upbringing that it's like you get that news and then you lock it away to protect yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I totally understand.
And it's just such a, oh my goodness. Rizzoli and Isles is really good though too, but that's another one that I've not like gone into the way I should, which is a shame because it's two female detectives like on the beat.
Killing it.
Like literally, they are killing it. Well, we gotta get, okay, so now that we can't, sorry Hallmark for workshopping that literally would involve you going back in time, and sorry if I brought it down, but I will bring it back up with, oh wait, what do I want to, oh, okay. The only one that's left, wait, tell me if I've done all these. Aurora, Mystery 101, Morning Show, Chronicle, Crossword, Picture Perfect, Martha's Vineyard. Okay, we're going to end on, and this is appropriate because I do know where you live, not specifically in a stalker way, just respectfully in a sleuther way. And you are a fellow Pennsylvania gal and Pennsylvania gal. But in Philly, where Matchmaker Mysteries is set with the Queen of Love, Angie Double Fine You Love, Danica McKellar is the best. Matchmaker Mysteries.
Then you have Victor Webster as the detective. I promise you, I don't know what it is.
Say that.
I don't know what it is about his name, but it just warrants that accent out of me, and I try to shake it, but it's hard, so bear with me.
Why would you shake it? I love it.
Okay, I just don't want to I don't want to make sure I'm not like offending or doing a disservice to Vic. It's even hard for me to say it regularly. I have to say Victor Webster.
No, don't. I think honestly, I think the fact that you do it is the opposite of not offending or doing a disservice. It's extra personalized. Like I wish someone said my name like quirky and that was like their thing with my name. Like he should feel honored.
Man, so I watched one matchmaker mystery. I think it was called Fatal Romance, about the romance author who died and her ex-boyfriend, Ethan, comes back, and then the whole kit and caboodle with that, because that one doesn't come on as frequently enough for me to DVR it. And I can't find it. That one and Crossword, I can't find either it being played a lot or on Amazon, because I'll buy it. I don't mind. I might have to start DVD collecting and becoming that type of sleuther and just amass a collection of mystery DVDs. I think that's where I'm headed. I think that's what should be done.
I like where you're like, I will financially commit to this. You're like not, you are not just trying to get it for free, which is fine too. Like I'm all about trying to get stuff for free, but it's like you're willing to make a financial commitment to your sleuthing future.
Like, this is it. This is my life. I'm here. I'm Detective Dara is on the beat. Like I'm here. I don't know what else to say. Like the fact that I tripped and fell into this world is just all but it's everything amazing and then some. I'm just
Well,
so
and
happy to
I'm going to continue pulling you deeper and deeper into this. I mean, the matchmaker mysteries are so fun because in addition, again, talking about capable women being really good at their jobs, they're not only detectives, but they all have cool jobs that they are very good at. And
yes.
for me, cool jobs are great, sure. But what's more important is that if you have a job, you are good at it or you care a lot. Now I know like, and I think that is something I've had a lot of like wacky, weird, random freelancing jobs that I've had some jobs that people would think are really cool, and then some jobs that people think are totally like unglamorous, or they'd be like, I'd never do that. But I always felt like I tried to at least bring the same level of energy and weird enthusiasm, because you're like, if I'm going to do a thing, I'm going to do a thing. And they do all have like super cool jobs, but they're all really capable women. So she is a great matchmaker. It's so much fun. Set in Philly, so there's all the fun stuff they're doing around town, the city of brotherly and sisterly love. And I really, really love Danica. I think she's so funny. And she's someone who, I mean, again, talking about like world building with this, Patty Stanger, who's Millionaire Matchmaker, she works on this show. She produced, yeah.
When I saw her name, my whole college years just came flooding back, because when I tell you I lived on the island of Bravo, that got me through college. Bravo and Tyler Perry and Bernie Mac, but all of them got me through college. So when I saw that Patty, and she made a cameo as a cop in one of the I said, and to your point about Danica, I love how, because each of our leading ladies has something, they have like an exceptional quality to them. And with Danica, I noticed that she's incredibly perceptive to body language. And I love that that's something that she notices both in a dating aspect with her job, but even when it comes to finding out, when it comes to sleuthing, snooping, and figuring out what it is she needs to know to help solve the mysteries. So I appreciate that about the matchmaker mysteries.
What the way you just broke that down for me, Detective Dar, I got like little bubbles of excitement in my heart, because I love that you made that connection, that she uses the skills she has in her chosen profession, and that translates. And they do a really good job of showcasing how that seamlessly makes sense. Yes, yeah, you get it. You get me, you get it, you get this world. I mean, you've already taken me on a journey of not only with the mysteries and the one that we are going to get to experience for the first time together, but highs and lows where you had to fill me in on my man Jet Jackson, and like we went through it all together and went on this journey that I feel like, I hope you will have me back again sometime, that we can continue this journey together.
Is it wrong of me to assume that I was already gonna have is that too forward of me to just say, oh, you ain't have a choice. You are
I love picturing you like offline, like saying to your friends or saying, be like, I mean, yeah, it was great to have her on, but like she keeps asking. So like, I mean, like she keeps asking me to come on. So I mean, like,
no, never that. You gotta change the tone. Y'all, she keeps asking. I am it's just me. I don't know why I love it. It's gotta be, yeah, that's how I'm at. That's how I'm saying it. Y'all, I don't know what I did, but she wants to come on this little engine that could called Dear Hallmark and just drop some mystery sleuthing detective knowledge on the kids. I'm so grateful. I wouldn't want anyone else to come on this mystery journey with me, Mystery Maven Jax. I'm appreciative. Thank you so much.
thank you for having me, Detective Dar, and I cannot wait to continue sleuthing with you going on this journey. We have a lot to experience together, and I hope people will come with us because we're having a lot of fun. So either get on like this train that could, and if you don't, we'll still have our own party. But I think people will come.
You're still invited. Everyone's invited. Please no.
Oh, you get on. We got plenty of room.
It's
Free.
free. No tickets sold. Just bring yourself and just the capacity to have fun. That's all we ask. That's all we ask.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
It's
Jack,
free in like all the DVDs you're gonna have to buy because you're invested on a next level. But for everyone else, you can watch whatever's on and hop on the train, and you're okay.
there it is. There it is. Well, Miss Jax, I thank you so much for coming on to Dear Hallmark. It was an absolute pleasure. It was an extreme delight to have you grace not only our listening ears, but also our eyes. I'm eternally grateful. Eternally grateful.
Detective Dar, the pleasure was all mine. Thank you for having me.